أكبر الله أكبر.
Would somebody just put a dick in that guy's mouth, please? Because that's what he wants. He's a cocksucker in disguise. He's got his mouth open because he wants someone to come in it. Now, do you want to keep making noise, motherfucker, and we can find you that way, or are you just a punk, coward, asshole, bullshit, loud motherfucker, and you're going to shut up now so we don't find out where the fuck you're sitting? Because if you keep it up, we'll grab your ass and throw you on the fucking street where you belong with your mother. And I'm fucking her in the asshole every night anyway. So fuck you and your sister and your wife. If you got a kid, I hope your fucking kid dies in a car fire. How do you like that, you stupid cocksucker? Shut the fuck up and get the fuck out of here.
Now, one of the problems is this creeping into our theology, into our thinking, into our worldview. So your little son starts to act a little girlish when he's 4 years old, and instead of squashing that like a cockroach and saying, man up, son, get that dress off you and get outside and dig a ditch, because that's what boys do. Shut up!
And welcome to this Wednesday's edition of the Infidel Show. It is 12/12/12, and if one more of you tells me that it's 12/12/12, I'm going to go fucking nuts. We get it. There's 3 12s in a row. Fuck you.
But it won't happen again for 1,000 years.
Yeah, it's the last one.
Gotta carve a pentagram in your son.
Next year it'll be 11, 12, 13 or something. They'll make some shit up trying to draw meaning from nothingness because their lives are so worthless. They need to believe in something like 12/12/12 has significance. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, moving on. Also, we have myself, Tim from the Atheist Bible Commentary, Aaron, and Dustin are our co-hosts. All three of us are hosting the show tonight, and our guests are Ogma from GU.
Yo, what up?
And Wesley from We Fucking Love Atheism.
What's up, people?
Welcome, guys. Let's have some fun tonight.
All right, we'll go to Dustin for the topics.
Topic tonight is going to be religious bullying and atheist persecution. We're also going to talk about the Christian majority's persecution complex. Whereas Lee talked about the other night, if you want to be like Jesus, you got to get persecuted. So,
yeah, those are the main topics. But before we get to that, I'm going to play. Let me get this ready here. There's a story here about a pro-life group that wanted to get its message out, and they chose a particularly bad way to do that. Here you go.
For Newsy, I'm Christina Hortman. A Cincinnati dry cleaning company is facing some harsh feedback after implementing a controversial marketing technique. The company is using wire coat hangers to spread the word about its pro-life opinion. Each hanger says, "Choose life," and has a picture.
Okay, I gotta stop right there. Okay. You're thinking about how to get your message out there about pro-life. Okay, that's whatever. But okay,
that is so awesome.
A coat hanger.
You can call me crazy, but I think that's a good idea.
I'll just take it and be like, thank you. Like, now I don't have to go to the store and buy a coat hanger when my wife uses this to abort our fetus tonight. Thank you.
Isn't that a cute
Freak
baby?
the fuck out of them.
you know, you could also like just scribble in there right next to "choose life." You could just small little letters with crayon or pencil. Just put "choose having a life."
Yeah.
Sure.
Tag up the coat hanger.
Pro-life activists have been known to use newspaper ads, graphic signs, and bus stop benches to spread their beliefs too. A Young Turks commentator noted there are plenty of other places a company could share their beliefs.
Yeah, you have the coat hanger that you can advertise on, but there's also like those big bags. You can put something on that. There's the tags to go on the clothes. It seems like they worked hard to put it on the most offensive part of what they actually give to people.
And these coat hanger ads aren't new. A writer for ONTD Political notes as far back as 2010, bloggers had posted pictures of the ads. So despite over 2 years of attention, the business continues to think this is an excellent cross-advertising campaign. In fact, the practice was losing them customers as far back as August of 2010. But a writer for The Stranger notes, one commentator calls it the worst ad placement ever. I'm inclined to disagree. In fact, I think it's the most persuasive pro-choice ad ever. For any
Okay.
Yeah, that's gnarly, dude.
Do you think that the guy they said he's losing business from like 2010. He's losing customers, and he still thinks this is a great idea.
I think it's a brilliant idea, honestly.
I think he's a Poe.
I'm just kidding.
I think he's like secretly an atheist or pro-choice, and he's trying to sabotage the pro-life movement. I don't, because I mean, who in their right mind says, I want to get the message out there about pro-life, the pro-life message, and I'll put it on anything. Let's see, what do I got here? Oh, a coat hanger.
It was just it was a Freudian slip on their part.
Well, it's got to be the best pro-choice ad ever.
Generally, yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I'd even argue to say it's one of the best advertising campaigns that I've seen in quite a while.
It'd be like the AIDS campaign putting its ads on the back of chicken broth. You know.
Yeah. Something like that.
Right. Still trying to figure that one out.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
No,
figuring that one out.
you don't know the chicken broth joke, you know? Never mind.
No, I don't get
I
that.
have to bring us up to speed on that one later, definitely.
I'm sorry. Never mind. Just ignore me.
Can you get
Bad
AIDS?
jokes.
Tell me you can get AIDS from chicken, and I'll leave right now. If that's part of the joke.
Here, I'll just direct this towards myself.
So shut up!
All right. Anyway, let's go to the other story we have here, which is the Pope recently got a Twitter account, and before he even started twittering or tweeting, he had 500,000 followers.
Wow.
Before he even put out
Posted his first tweet.
Yeah, 500,000 followers.
Followers and
Followers. That's why they're called followers.
right.
Doesn't the Pope have a hard enough time standing? Why the fuck do we need to give him social networking abilities? Like, we really need to listen to, like...
Good point, Ogma.
He doesn't know what
it's kind of like
he thinks that the computer is Satan, and now you're forcing him to use Twitter.
Remember like that story a little while back where they published the Pope's iPod shuffle list or something, like his music playlist that he had on his iPod. The Vatican was publishing that so people could see you could listen to the music that the Pope was listening to.
Were the Pussycat Dolls on there? That's like my first guess. I don't know why.
It's like
or maybe Slayer, or Little Rage Against the Machine, Lamb of God.
Well, everyone listens to Bieber. You know you got Bieber on there.
Oh yeah, the Pope's definitely got Bieber fever. That's for sure. We already know that.
I think Michael Jackson would probably be more appropriate.
That's just someone that he respects as like beyond the music, just as a person.
Yeah. Role model, if you will.
Yes.
Or some Freddie Mercury. But anyway, I think Dustin you have some tweets.
My mom's getting all bent out of shape because we're talking about the Pope tweeting. She's like, he only tweeted one time.
Yeah, he tweeted, "How can we celebrate the year of faith better in our daily lives?" And one of the replies in Spanish was, by not raping children and by paying property tax. That seems like the best way for me.
I saw an article yesterday about how the Vatican is very concerned about the types of reactions that they were getting back from the people on the internet and the messages that the pontiff was receiving. Well, like, did they even look at the internet before they went in there?
Like the internet. and you thought you weren't going to get harassed.
It is the place of all that is godless, unholy, hellish.
Well, that's why you have these guys get on there that are like from Saudi Arabia, where no one's allowed to question anything, and they get on and they go on the internet and they find out that people are just laughing at their religion, rolling around, laughing on the floor out loud at their religion, and you know that's got to drive them nuts.
They lose their shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you're isolated to be thinking that, then, man, yeah, that your religion's a punchline. I couldn't imagine.
Hold on, guys. I'm going to give you guys... I forgot to give this guy... Here's the link to the...
That's a good point.
Comments.
Instead of... From now on, like, we don't even need a joke. We could just be like, Christianity. Like, you could just throw that after anything and just make anything hilarious.
Dude, that is funny, dude. I would laugh every time.
Yeah, so I made myself a turkey sandwich this morning and Christianity.
I love it, dude. Let's start making it.
It sounds like a Family Guy cutaway. You know.
Perfect.
You bomb a joke and you just throw Christianity on the end and everybody laughs.
Whenever he takes it like way too far.
Yeah. Well, we got John Gleason says, can he even type? My grandmother is younger than him and can't use a fucking touch phone. Touch tone phone.
Yeah.
It's got to be like, it's kind of like having that, like it would be like having your religious grandparents on Twitter. Is what
I mean, they made it really easy to make fun of this.
Yeah. But
my one aunt sent me a friend request, and I know she'd go right to my grandmother and just blab everything I post to her. I was like, no, blocked.
My little sister does that.
This brings up a good point, though, because like back in the day, you had the armed missionaries send them to rape, pillage, burn villages, and then like push the message of Christ into people. And now you got people doing it on the internet constantly, all day, like an army of brainwashing machines.
Yeah, but once you leave the internet, the thing is like it's pretty fucking harsh out there if you're an atheist. And there's a lot of discrimination out there that exists in the real world. The internet just gives I think most people who use the internet have some degree of education or are likely to have an education.
I disagree.
Well,
most people that use the internet are dumb as a brick.
Well, a lot more people online seem to be more open about being atheist or being blasphemous. Yeah. And I mean, there are a lot of theists online too, because I mean, if you look at like Jesus Daily, when they post something and it gets like hundreds of thousands of likes within an hour or whatever it is, right, Aaron?
Yeah.
And you got your keyboard there.
Oh, sorry, dude.
And but I mean, we are outnumbered by a large amount in the real world, and it just seems like the internet kind of gives us the ability to fight back a little bit, because one we can be anonymous, and two, it's a lot easier to kind of express these things online than it is in real world conversations, where you might not be able to find a fellow atheist in your town, but if you go online, you can find hundreds and thousands of them on the internet that you can talk to and converse with, like we're doing right now. It's it connects us.
Like, we're the minority down here, but if you go up to like a place like Canada, like most people aren't like really religious unless they're like really old, and everyone else is either like an atheist, or they don't care, or they're Wiccan or something like weird, you know? It's like a completely different environment. I feel like as countries become more progressive, they start to become less retarded.
That's important. Really important.
But I mean, it does lend it, like there's a very real discrimination against atheists in this story. We're gonna go into our main topic here. Switch over, I guess. And Aaron, you sent me this article. It says, report: atheists face worldwide persecution and harassment. There's even 7 countries, I believe it lists here, where it says that atheists can be put to death, suffer the death penalty. And guess what the state religion of those places is? Begins with an I and ends with an Islam.
Yeah. Yep, they can still behead you for apostasy, no doubt.
It even says a section here. The report emphasizes that non-believers are discriminated against even in North America and European nations. In the U.S., atheists and the non-religious are made to feel like lesser Americans or non-Americans, and that's a quote there from the study. In at least 7 states, constitutional provisions are in place that bar atheists from public office, and in one state, Arkansas, has a law that bars an atheist from testifying as a witness at a trial. You know. Now, to be fair, a lot of these laws are not enforced anymore, but they're still on the books, and there are some people that I think probably would like to see them enforced.
I wonder how many murderers walked away because the atheists couldn't testify. I'm kind of wondering that right now.
There's a guy in the chat, John Gleason, said, okay, I had a hardcore Baptist friend of mine tell me that it was hard to be a Christian in the Bible Belt. How is it hard to be a Christian in the Bible Belt?
Yeah, that's a rough life for you got there, man.
But like, here's a good. I'm going to play a video here from. This is from the I think the Liberty Council, which is part of related to the AFA. And just listen to what these guys have
Ryan
to say.
Fisher.
This is Barber on this one.
You know, and you mentioned this is the Freedom from Religion Foundation. It's amazing how people who are so ideologically driven like this, trying to reinvent and recreate an America in their own secular humanist self-image, have to get around or trample over, if you will, the United States Constitution, clear precedent, the clear law of the land, in order to try to really cleanse any public sphere of any. It's not just any religion, it's the Christian religion. It's religious cleansing that they are engaging in here. You know, what do you do with a bully?
Listen
if
to that
a bully
language.
keeps getting his way and intimidating kids on the playground, and nobody stands up for themselves, then the bully is encouraged and emboldened and continues to bully more and more people. But when a little kid is being bullied and he turns around and punches the bully in the mouth, metaphorically speaking, of course.
Oh, of course,
then the bully
metaphorically.
oftentimes is proven to be a
Passive-aggressive
paper tiger.
douchebag.
Well, the
Who
Freedom
is
from
the
Religion
bully?
Foundation is nothing but a giant paper tiger.
As far as I can tell, atheists are the one who's the minority in this country. They're the ones who are being bullied by all of the Judeo-Christian.
So Tim, you don't buy that?
Persecuted majority.
You don't buy that? The metaphorically speaking, of course. You don't think he was sincere? You think he was actually?
Oh, I think on a subconscious level he was being passive aggressive, of course. Why else would you say that? Why else?
Well, he was using the analogy of punching a bully in the face, and the bully's usually a paper tiger, because if you stand with the bully, he'll stop bullying you.
It's kind of like the quintessential passive-aggressive statement.
Oh, I agree.
Threaten violence, but then, I don't really mean it that way. It's kind of like it's just a douchebag.
What the fuck is a paper tiger? I don't.
Well, because
I've never heard that expression before.
Well, that's what's funny about that is he says we're a paper tiger, but we're the bullies. So he acknowledges that we're outnumbered, and that they have the majority. So, how can we possibly be them? How can they possibly be the victims? Are we? Well, the only thing we're trying to do is get them to respect. Hey, this is government. Keep your religion out. You can have your churches. You can have all this stuff. But I mean, we talked about this the other night: separation of church and state. It's not like we're telling them you can't practice your religion. We're not going to start putting Christians in jail for being Christians.
Which is really hard because this country was founded on like puritanical ass, ridiculous, like just ridiculously. People came over here for religious freedom because they wanted to practice their own branch of fucking craziness. They were like, "Oh, this shit is crazy. Let's go over here and do our own form of some shit that's just as crazy." You know,
and they didn't want
You
to
know
get
what I'm
murdered.
trying
They
to
didn't
say.
like being murdered either. That was a big part of it too.
Yeah.
Well, right after they got here, the
Yeah,
Puritans
and we
started
killed
persecuting-
all the godless Native Americans who were just godless animals. They worshipped the land around them and provided for all their people, and made sure they always had each other's backs. And then we showed them the real way in the life.
Yeah, the real love of
New America, right?
the real love of Christ. We just killed them all. That's genocide. Jesus loves you. Now die.
That's so fucked up.
It's like, go be with Jesus now, sir.
We went over there. We were like, hey, what's going on over here? Oh, yeah, that's awesome. You guys think you can teach us a little bit about your land? Oh, that's all right. We'll be right back, and we're gonna bring plenty of food. When we came back, we just completely wiped out their entire species and just
Here, have some blankets. Wink, wink.
It's like we're starving to death, dying of disease. They come and help us, and to repay them, it's genocide. That's the American way.
Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously these guys are exaggerating because we're not. After centuries and centuries of abuse by the church, I mean, a couple hundred years ago, you could not be an open atheist.
Right.
Even in this country, even though we were supposedly in the land of the free, we had problems with people being persecuted if they were said they were an atheist or didn't believe in God. And the perfect example of that is one of the most famous Americans, Thomas Paine. He died destitute and alone and ridiculed because people did not like his anti-Christian views and his stance against the church. And having those views has always been something that's been something of makes you something of a social pariah. Have you guys ever experienced any of that kind of attitude in your lives?
absolutely
Stigma?
To be honest, not really.
I went to a Catholic school from kindergarten to my senior year, except 1 year when I went to public school. And that's when anyone's like, why are you an atheist? That's the answer I give them, because I went to Catholic school and I actually learned about that shit. But once people find out you're an atheist, most of them come to the conclusion that you worship Satan, which you don't believe in Satan, but you're associated with Satan because you're godless. And the worst, Satan's biggest trick is fooling the world that he didn't exist, So, they just associate you with, being demonic and, satanic, so they're just, you know what I mean?
Being controlled by devils, yeah.
And and if you have any kind of opinion, on it or whatever, immediately, there's just, uproarious, fucking, there's no room for discussion. I don't know.
You're automatically the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In their view, their view. I mean, it's like the Bible says in Psalm 14, chapter 14, verses 1 through 3, that a fool says in his heart there is no God, and it says we can't do good. There are none of us that can do any good. We're evil. We're corrupt. And this is their holy book that tells them this. And they preach sermons on it. I used to sit through them as a believer, where they talk about that passage and atheism and denying God, and they don't think that we are capable of good. They don't think we're capable of holding public office, of being anyone that's influential in society, because we're the bad guys.
Right, and most of them don't even, most believers that I know, either they don't know that they have atheist friends, most of them, because everybody's so in the closet about it. They don't want to be, thought of as different. That's why homosexuals stay in the closet. Nobody wants to be thought of as different and be shunned just for, the way that they are.
When I told my parents that I was an atheist, one of them didn't talk to me for a good solid 2 or 3 months at all, and then the other one just kind of didn't act the same. You know what I mean? For a while, it's they were looking at me well, I'm sorry you're going to hell, but I still love you.
Why do you think?
No, you're fine. Sorry, Ogma, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I was done.
this is a clip here that I was going to set up next here of a bunch of news clips and pieces of audio that show the kind of attitude that a lot of Americans have and how we're portrayed in the media. And I just want people to watch this because this is the thing that's out there that most people think about us, especially people who are Christians, who make up the majority of this country. And when you're talking about us being the bullies or us being the bad guys or us being the ones that are in the wrong here, just listen to some of the things that these people are saying about us.
Why do you think they're so remarkably intolerant of atheists?
Well, I think there's a sort of historic misunderstanding of what atheism is. For some reason, people have been brought up to believe that atheists have two horns and a tail. I mean, there are figures that show that atheists are the most mistrusted group in America. Atheists are the most mistrusted group in America.
You may have driven past it and not even noticed its message. A large billboard along the west side of US 41 is catching some attention. Displayed high in the sky, it reads, "Imagine no religion." The message is being put out by the nonprofit group called Freedom from Religion Foundation. It is the largest association of atheists and agnostics. A Terre Haute member anonymously paid for the billboard, but some are not finding its message helpful.
Okay, this is a typical thing where like they put up these billboards.
It's not helpful.
They just grabbed the oldest, most senile redneck that they could find. And they're like, tell us what you think about that billboard up there.
No, sir.
And I think America's going to hell. It's been going to hell ever since Eisenhower came in.
Well, now we got to see what he says.
Need to be there.
Doesn't need to be there.
If you ain't got something to believe in, then you might just shut the doors and stay home.
Here it is. It's a billboard that reaches out to people who do not believe in God, and it's causing quite a stir in Orange County. Some people are offended by it. Some people are offended by it, and others claim it's just plain foolish. Vicki Vargas is live in Westminster for us. Vicki?
Chuck, the city council here, the city manager tells us they are getting calls, they're getting complaints, but they say this is exactly what free speech was designed to do.
We're not here to attack religion.
Bruce Gleason said.
Well, anyway, they go on and talk about these billboards, but I wanted to highlight this because these billboards are a great example of the discrimination against atheists. Don't believe in God, you're not alone. That's speaking to somebody who's already an atheist and is afraid to come out.
Right.
There's nothing in there that's attacking religion. There's nothing in there that's going after people of faith.
Nothing anti-theist, yeah.
There's this encouragement for fellow atheists, but this is controversial. Yet you can have billboards that say abortion is murder and all these other kind of things about religion.
Or even Jesus is the reason for the season, dude.
Exactly.
That's
Jesus'
propaganda.
giant face on a billboard is not something that I want to see when I'm driving down the street. Sorry.
Or the adult bookstore advertisements. I mean, you can't even count how many times you see that, but that doesn't.
I'd like to see those advertisements, though.
Right.
It's like we're not even allowed to
advertisements
speak,
are good, but once you go in there, you don't want.
Well, how else are you going to find a spank store if you're in a foreign town? You need billboards, Exit 34.
We ain't got no internet, right?
It's been a long drive.
Don't believe in God.
The floors are sticky, but the selection rules.
We have hot women and pull over here for some godless sex orgies.
That's what we're all about.
I mean, come on, though. I mean, look, don't you think that this kind of shows this discrimination that's going on here? Because, I mean, this is controversial. Every time we express ourselves, somehow it's construed to be controversial.
Yeah, of course, we knew that this discrimination existed because of how ingrained this bullshit is into our government and into the minds of just about everybody in society.
80%.
And then you got somebody who used to be one of my favorite comedians coming on and making himself just look.
Cat Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He used to be one of my favorite comedians. Yeah. Congratulations, you're no longer in my top 5.
Yeah.
Well, here's some
Dude,
people
he's spread some dumb I mean, just ignorant stuff to a lot of people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, like I have a problem with organized religion, but I don't necessarily think that like people, like religious people, are dumb necessarily. As a coincidence, a lot of religious people happen to be, you know, don't really have a lot of wherewithal, but you know.
Well, I mean, you bring up a good point, Ogma. I don't think I have a lot of very intelligent friends who happen to be theists, and you know, I have quite a spectrum. I have some that are just like, yeah, whatever. I just believe in God, and that's the way they want. You know, I think those are the people that are playing Pascal's wager, and then there's the people that are also intelligent that are like super out there,
just indoctrinated into it their whole life.
So like, no, you have our faith wrong. You know, Christianity is nothing but gentleness and love and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, so what about all the rest of the people in the world that don't?
And then they say that other hateful stuff. Oh, that's just God's way of showing you that that there's another side of the coin, that hate does exist in the world. But it's like, yeah, but then why is he telling people to do it in the Bible, like telling them to do it? Like, I thought that's something that he's not really for.
Doesn't it seem like some of these theists are also teaming up a little bit? Like in some of these countries where they have blasphemy laws, it's okay if you believe in a different religion, but you can't not believe in anything.
Right.
And if you do, and you deny, if you're not a member of one of these religions, I think Indonesia, or Philippines, or even India's, I think like that.
Yeah, exile.
Yep. You're not you don't have equal rights.
Dude, dead ass. If I lived in one of those countries, I'd be like, just bowing every single day.
Like they had in India.
If you had to fake it, I think Buddhism would be the better one to go to.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure there's not a country where it's mandatory that you believe in Buddhism or they kill you, which would be a hilarious paradox.
Indonesia.
You're like, oh, you want me to put my hand on that Quran? Okay, cool. Here's my hand, and there's the Quran. Let's do this. I'd like to keep my head today.
This is what this next video I'm going to play here is. This is what people actually. This is somebody asking, "What do you think about atheists?" And these are the opinions in the media and in our culture that go around about us. This outside of our circles. This is what a lot of people think about us right here. This is the video I originally meant to play. Play the other one there. But this is the one here. Let's see what it's got.
Atheists are parasites.
What does an atheist believe? Nothing, right? I think they need to shut up.
You're evil, you're wicked, you're vile.
We used to say in previous wars there are no such thing as an atheist in a foxhole. Is that true?
Yes, it is true. Very true.
They suffer the fact that they don't believe because they know that the world makes a whole lot more sense if God does exist.
There's no fellowship between an atheist and somebody who's a believer in God.
If you look at some of the people who are atheists, they're all miserable looking because they don't have any faith in anything.
They're benefiting from everything that religious culture is built in America, but they're doing nothing to add energy into the system.
Stupid atheists, I hope God kills them all.
Nah.
The Pope blamed Nazi crimes on atheism and the secularization of society.
If you think the Bin Ladens of the world are bad, Bin Laden in his wildest imagination.
Go ahead if you got a comment.
Oh yeah, I got a comment on that. Something about Nazis and atheists being in collaboration. Hitler was a pretty devout Christian, and the Catholic Church has proven ties giving money to the Nazi party.
Yeah, it's just funny coming from the Pope, isn't it? Who was also wasn't he one of the Hitler Youth?
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah,
he was an SS.
It's like upside down world.
This is perfect misconception on atheism.
It's frustrating because a lot of the stuff that they portray is not only an outright lie or a fabrication. Sometimes they take things that Christians have done in the past that were really bad and try to pin it on atheists. Like this, where the church was responsible, involved with, and had been responsible in the past, historically in Europe, for the anti-Semitism that drove the Holocaust. and somehow atheists are to blame.
Of course. If you don't believe in God, you can't possibly be a good person.
Right.
You can't possibly do the right thing for the right reason instead of doing the right thing for the wrong reason.
It's
where do you get your morality from?
Wait, here's the sound
like
effect.
you gotta have it's like you gotta have some kind of morality based on a childish system of reward. Like I have to be good so that I can have candy later. I have to be good so I could go to heaven.
Yeah.
You know, it's just another way to like just control, your belief, because it's like I'm sure a lot of you have listened to Lewis Black, and like Lewis Black is like, these people were fucking camels. Like you had to give them something to get them to stop fucking camels, because they were just fucking camels everywhere, apparently.
You just want to, like, when you hear the Pope say some of this stuff, you just want to, idiot. Let's see what.
You can hardly talk.
Let's see what else these people have to say here about us.
Not even begin to match the crimes of atheism that have occurred within our lifetime. It is atheism, not religion, that is responsible for the mass murders of history.
A press release from the Catholic League said the comparison between atheists and Nazis was more than justified. The Pope did not go far enough. Radical atheists like the British Humanist Association should apologize for Hitler.
They have no love in them. They have no love in them.
Wait, we should apologize for Hitler?
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see what Miss Lady Logic said? She said there's no atheist and terrorist training camps.
Yeah.
Was it Seth that posted that earlier, the Thinking Atheist? I think that's where I saw that come up when I shared it. That's a great. But I mean, come on. I want to talk about this for just a second.
Hold on 1 second. I just want, before you say something, I want to take this moment as an atheist to personally apologize for Hitler. I just wanted to clear that up for us. We're really sorry. It's all our fault that he killed all those people. And he wasn't a devout Christian and funded by the Nazi Party.
All right, well, since we've got that taken care of, we're sorry. We apologized. Let's go on to see what else they're going to blame us for.
So, all the science and whatever gibberish you want to spout at me, you don't have any love in you. You have no love in you. So it's all worthless.
Her kids don't go to church or believe in God. I love Jesus and the cross, and if you don't, I hope somebody rapes you.
Because if you think that this world, your life is just preparing with candles and
that one made me lose my head.
has no life outside your immediate physical self, I think you're missing something.
I like how Dave Silverman
have fun.
I love how Dave Silverman just looks at Bill O'Reilly like the retarded child that's trying to talk to him about something.
As he should. Have you ever seen Jon Stewart go on Bill O'Reilly's show? That shit is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, why does he have people on his show that he knows is just gonna turn him inside out in a debate?
We have no love. We have no love. I'm incapable of love. I can't love my children or my wife.
I think you gotta have some kind of you need some kind of foundation of beliefs to teach your children, but they don't need to come from some kind of ancient text that motherfucking cavemen scribbled on like rocks a long time ago.
An animal knows how to take care of it and show love, and I guess.
Fuck it. I'm just.
Oh shit! You need the Ten Commandments to know that it's not good to kill people and steal shit.
I got two fucking kids upstairs that are ready to go. I mean, I could just throw them right in the oven.
Some lemon pepper on.
Dude, you gotta boil them first. It actually makes the meat more tender.
We get presents. This is a celebration. What do they do?
What do they fill the void with? Stuff, things, power, careers, money, celebrities.
And a University of Minnesota
getting paid
poll
$100,000
found that atheists were among the most distrusted group in America.
Every dark-sided person, get out of my house. If you believe in Jesus, you can stay here.
You said yo, that woman. I just want to say that woman is sexy.
Talking to a person Steve Harvey's another person I want to throw out of a 12-story window.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he came on TV and he started fake crying for like a Christian charity, and he's another one who's like, oh well, if you're an atheist, then you're just absolutely you're just dumb.
I just walk away. Like, okay, that's very intelligent of you.
You just proved to me that you're ignorant and you don't want to go even further with the conversation at all.
Right.
I don't want to talk to Steve Harvey.
People, like
Steve Harvey's like he's like as far as comedians go, he's just
awful.
He's a comedian?
That's not actually. That's how he started out. Yeah.
I didn't know he was a comedian.
All right. Let me just say, his stand-up comedy to me is fucking hilarious. His personal views are this is gonna be like Michael Vick. All right, I don't agree with Michael Vick's personal views, but as before this season, he was a good football player. Before he threw all those interceptions and then got a concussion, but.
Yeah,
you guys get where I'm trying to go with this.
Yeah.
I lost my point a long time ago.
Like Steve Harvey and Cat Williams are just like together, and then the whole, kids and the younger youth look up to these people in a sense. They're comedians, but still, they kind of have a public role model sense, and that's kind of scary.
Very scary.
They commit Google crimes, they'd even. So.
Let's see what wisdom pours out of Steve Harvey's mouth.
God, what's his moral barometer? Where is it at? It's nowhere.
How can you have judgment if you have no faith? And how can I trust you with power if you don't pray?
How can I trust you with power if you pray?
Right.
How can I trust a person who talks to an invisible person inside their head and gets decisions?
We usually put them in a place called a mental institution, usually.
Have you seen the Simpsons episode where it's like, yeah, I believe in God, and he's like, is this God in the room right now? Like they're in a therapy office, and that's like the first question the therapist asks. That's how it should be.
I'll tell you, it's you remember Jessica Alquist, the girl who challenged her school, and the messages that came across on here. I think I have some of them here. Here, I'm looking at them right now in this window here. But she challenged a prayer banner in her school and was following the law and the Constitution, just trying to get her school to obey the separation of church and state. And she got message after message, from people here threatening her with rape, going to burn in hell, you're a stupid cunt, bitch, all this kind of stuff. You little brainless idiot. Hope you will be punished. You have not won something. It
just teaches people to be hateful bigots for the rest of their lives. Because it has things in their text that justify it fundamentally to be hateful and bigoted.
You're not in my club.
Sorry, trying to read some of these is difficult because they're really
just
bad
different
spelling and grammar. Anytime these people talk,
you think differently, therefore you're dangerous, not one of the stupid sheeple, so you're to be outcast in
One of us.
Well, this is she got a death threat, and this is the death threat she got. So the cops will not watch you forever. We will get you. Good. Tell your little asshole sister to watch her back. There are many of us crusaders, in quotes. We have a betting pool going on to see who gets you first. Your fucking old man better move or keep you locked up if he knows what's good for you. We know where he works, what kind of cars you have, and the plate numbers of the cars.
When he takes a shit in the day, we know everything.
Get the fuck out of Rhode Island, you bitchin' whore. You are nothing more than a sex toy of a slut. Maybe you will be gangbanged before we throw you out of one of our cars. We will get you. Look out. I feel the love of Jesus just flowing through that. Praise the Lord.
I felt kind of warm and fuzzy after you said that. I don't know why. That's kind of weird.
It was the gangbang part, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I have the weirdest... Never mind.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Wait a minute. Oh, but this is the kind of stuff that happens. These people who claim to worship this loving God, anytime that atheists kind of stand up for themselves and demand equal treatment under the law, this is what we get. This, from the religion of peace and love and Jesus, who's supposed to turn the other cheek and forgive those who, that do wrong against you and all that kind of stuff. But they contradict themselves so much when they do this. But this is the attitude that we get. They say we have no love and we're full of hate. But this is where do you see atheists in large numbers going and doing this to Christians? You don't.
I mean, it's like you're taught if it's different, discriminate. Like it's reflex.
Any thoughts on that, Aaron?
No, I am spacing out.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
No. I went into I put a contest up to give away a sticker on the page, and I was looking at the responses, and none of them are really good so far.
Well, let's go look at this. I'm sure all you remember Pat Tillman when he died, and was the media made a big deal about that because he was a famous football player who gave up his career in football to go serve his country in Afghanistan, and he was killed in a friendly fire incident. And after, his family was treated like shit by the military because they were atheists. And I'm just going to play this quick clip right here.
New outrage tonight over remarks by a U.S. Army officer after the friendly fire death of Pat Tillman, covered up in Afghanistan. Pat Tillman's mother, Mary, says she is appalled that the officer suggested the family is not at peace with Tillman's death because of their lack of religious faith. One top lawmaker, Congressman Henry Waxman, said the officer should be punished. Jimmy McIntyre reports now from the Pentagon.
It came as a shock to members of Congress probing the Pat Tillman death that one Army investigator was quoted making remarks that Tillman's family found highly insulting.
He said that we would never be satisfied because we're not Christians and we're just a pain in the ass, basically. He also said that it must make us feel terrible that Pat's worm dirt.
The offending comment was posted on ESPN.com last summer. It suggested the Tillman family's dissatisfaction.
And yet, we're the bullies.
That's fucking horrible, dude. How can somebody say that to a grieving mother of a stand-up guy who threw away a pro football career to go serve his country? How dare that fucking person?
Yeah,
I'm appalled.
They're like, these people are the scum of the earth. Like people who hold signs at funerals and scream in faces.
Yeah, the Westboro
family
Baptist Church fuckers.
Oh yeah, they're scum of the earth.
Well, you don't understand how much God hates fags. That's the problem. No, I'm just kidding.
If you fucking think that your God is generating storms and natural disasters or what have you to punish
people are
the country because people are gay, you are not of your own mind. You're not of fucking sound mind. I'm sorry. It's lunacy.
I remind them that it's against homosexuality, but it promotes incest. I mean, can you really make a decision between the two? I mean,
it also promotes polygamy and bigamy.
Well, I mean, the Catholic Church is all about incest. That's how. If you look at the Old Testament, those motherfuckers had to begat somehow. They had to breed with their brothers and sisters.
Well, genetically, we know that there's an extraordinarily in human history there's an extraordinary amount of incest, and
yeah, we're a bunch of ugly inbred motherfuckers.
It's just a fact that we're all related, but you don't have to be so related that you're fucking cousins and shit, direct cousins.
Yeah, unless you're in Arkansas.
Sure to God, I've heard a mile.
Yeehaw. Squeal! Squeal!
But I guess maybe the country is so used to this discrimination. You have, civil rights movement discrimination. You got, gay discrimination, and now we have atheist discrimination. I guess it's just this continuous chain that never ends, maybe.
But the problem
continuous hate wheel.
But the problem we have is that we don't even have the media acknowledging that we're being discriminated against. When you have other minorities being discriminated against, the media will kind of take their side. Exactly. Exactly.
Let's on HBO, right?
We're the most hated group.
A lot of times I can see they're there are a lot of like loudmouth, ignorant, and bullheaded fucking atheists. But I mean, the majority of them aren't that way, just by pure numbers. You know, there's like a hell of a lot more theists, so there's a hell of a lot more dumbass theists. You know.
Well, here's what'll happen. You'll have somebody in the Westboro Baptist Church get up there with their "God hates the fag" signs and do some real ignorant shit. But those aren't real Christians. You know that.
Yeah. Like, just because you're an atheist, that has nothing to do with your intelligence level whatsoever. You could
they
be
don't
an
give
atheist,
us that latitude, though. They
you
don't.
could be an atheist and be dumb as fuck. I have met plenty atheists who are god awful, like just sad. I'm talking empty shells of human beings. Just give them some blocks and fucking I don't know. I'm gonna stop myself before I make any kind of jokes that get repealed by the FCC.
Give them a bottle of Southern Comfort and a box of razor blades. Is that what you're trying to say?
Tim, see, like I always try not to go there, and Tim just pushes it to like a cliff that no one could ever predict where we went. Like,
that's why we.
That's
love
awesome,
Tim so
though.
much.
I mean, I approve of that. Definitely, that's definitely somewhere my mind would go because I like humor like that. But.
Just while you're at it, pour him a hot bath.
Yeah, it'd be more comfortable.
But like, what these atheists do, the stupid shit, or do something stupid, they use that to paint all atheists as that, or as in that negative context. But whenever somebody that's religious does something stupid, the tendency is to kind of separate them from mainstream religious people, whereas they don't do that with us. You know, every time any one of us does anything bad, it's used to label the whole group as kind of being like that.
Yeah, like they get so sensitive because they just because we disagree with your organization, therefore we disagree with your fundamental beliefs, and we got a problem with you personally. So they take that shit.
Yeah.
It's like a staunch Republican or Democrat who thinks you're disagreeing with their beliefs, so they just get angrier and angrier because they feel like you're attacking them as a person and their core values.
You can't.
No, we're not. We're
belief
attacking that
from-
crazy motherfucker over there. Don't you see all the crazy ass shit that he's doing? And they just completely ignore that because they're so brainwashed.
Williams Rodney says, watch the Arkansas comments. He must be from Arkansas. That's okay, Rodney. My mom's from West Virginia, so.
We got Jesse Pringle in the comments asking, she said, never watched the show. Will there be a Q&A? There will be, the room will be opened up and you can come in and hang out with us after the show.
I knew someone was going to make an Arkansas comment.
If you just want to ask a question, you can type it into the YouTube feed and we will see it and it'll pop up for us. So if you do have a question, just go ahead and ask it in the chat there. That's a good place to do that. Well, like I think as we're going towards the break here, I want to play this last one here because it just goes to the absolute end of the ridiculous spectrum.
Hey, before you cue that, Tim, can I just say something?
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Before we go to the break, I absolutely fucking love giving away books. I just gave away a book. I just gave away a book in the from TABC from somebody who said, "Hey, can you recommend a good book?" And I just sent him a copy of a book. I'll just keep it on the DL, which one it is. But I love sharing that knowledge. That's all.
I'll just keep it on the DL. What was it? 50 Shades of Grey?
No. It was no. I just don't want to. You know. It was a PDF, and it's probably considered privacy or piracy, and we're live on the air. It was a copyrighted book. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, and you just snitched on yourself.
Damn atheist.
But
fucking
I could be lying.
Yeah, no, I know. You're talking about hypothetical.
I'm propagating the knowledge.
Yes.
I think the author would actually be stoked.
Can I just say before we go to a great break that I love cream of broccoli soup. No, I was just kidding. I was making a joke because, Tim was saying something, and then you were like you didn't hear what he said, and then you were just like, "Can I just say something?" I love giving away books. It completely obliterated what he was talking about.
I had no idea where he went. I just like, okay, wait, what?
That's
okay.
so awesome.
We go with that. That's like
Captain
ADD.
Random.
We have ADD here, so we're fine. But I'll play this clip of Pat Robertson and this African American lady he has on the show talks about how atheists should hate trees.
Atheists don't believe in anything. I mean, athea means no God. They've got no gods. That's what they don't have anything. So they don't believe in anything. But they can protest somebody who believes in something. I mean, isn't it a strange thing that we would allow somebody who doesn't believe in anything to restrict the freedom of those who do? I mean, it makes no sense. Sooner or later, we're going to wake up, but I think maybe we are, but our hats off to the Forest Service. This is just one minor little skirmish, but these atheists are just enormously creative in figuring out things that they can do to give us trouble.
You know what I just thought of? You know, you've got different kind of, I don't know, you call them religions. There's one called Wicca, and they're all about the environment, right? So if they're a religion that believes in the environment, and they believe that trees are their god, why are these atheists not saying we should cut down every tree? Because it's offensive. Do you know what I mean? It's the same mentality.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Okay.
That logic was awesome.
First off, Wiccans don't worship trees.
That's Google crime. Google crime. Didn't even Google Wiccan. Are you serious?
Did she really say that?
It's Pat Robertson, dude. Again, this is another dude that shits his pants while he's talking to you. Why are we still taking these people seriously?
I volunteer to be a sleeper cell intern for the 700 Club with Pat Robertson. I volunteer.
As she said that, I was just thinking, holy crap! I just. We should because Wiccans worship trees and we're atheists and God. She was trying to say that trees are Wiccans' God or their version of God. So therefore, because we're atheists, we should cut down the trees. Makes sense to me. Who's got a chainsaw?
So you want to cut down the Christians? Is that or?
I want to make a point before the girl just completely floored everybody's mind with the tree comment, which must be their tactic. Like they just must pick something completely ridiculous to make you forget about the stupid ass shit that they just said.
Wow,
it's way better than the banana analogy. Way better than the peanut butter analogy.
You take a banana.
Better than the crocodile, that's for sure. But what is? All right.
I kill you.
I can't beat with all these sound effects. Alright, so what I was trying to say was what Pat Robertson was saying before about, fuck you guys. Just fuck you. I don't even know why I came on this show in the first place.
Enough sound effects. Why don't we just go to the break here?
All right. What do we want to go to break?
I remember what I was gonna say. Pat Rob, like they act like we're protesting against God. Like we're protesting against the crazy ass actions that like that kind of belief system like leads to. Like we're protesting against child molestation and setting people on fire and beating little kids to death. You know, things that usually aren't considered normal in modern society.
Yeah.
Still,
and Tim, if I may make a suggestion for intermission music, how about Breaking Bad, since we got Ogma here?
Okay, we'll go with that. And when we get back, we're going to talk about a little bit more about the.
When are we going to be back?
This is. Let me see. This is how many minutes long? About 4 minutes.
That's like 3 or something.
4 minutes, 3 minutes and 57 seconds. So after we play this, we'll come back and we'll talk a little bit. We'll switch it up here and we'll start talking about the persecution complex that Christians seem to have, even though it's obvious by what we talked about in this first hour that we're the ones that are actually being persecuted. We're going to go and see how they feel from their perspective, and we'll listen to a few clips and then we'll comment on that. But here we go with Breaking Bad. This is Landon Tombstone Taylor, and featuring Ogma who's here with us tonight, and he's on this track. And the album is Death Lives, and you can find that on Bandcamp.com. Or do you have any other places that you want to plug there, Ogma?
It's only $5. It might also be on Reverb Nation. I'm not sure, but you can find Tombstone's music on Bandcamp, YouTube, Reverb Nation, pretty much any kind of media outlet. But it's $5. It's a dope ass EP, and it's worth every penny of it.
Cool. Here we go.
Now watch me hit 'em with this rope of dope and leave these rappers comatose. Don't step too close, I radiate the heat so hot that most would roast. Turn your face to toast with knuckle blast to break your nose and have the blood just spraying out and ruin all your fancy clothes. I see these critics on these websites always like to chat or speculate. They always hate cause deep inside they wanna rap. They frustrated, they try but they never made it. So they logging and they typing all caps that they really hate it. Hey fuck boy, we know that you soft for the stuff toys. What you acting like you hype while you typing the line for. See pussy other times, you the type that I would ignore. But fucking I find the time to grind your ego to the floor. It's fun to just jerk off and wipe the fucking smirk off his face when he discovers I'm talking to him and smile is erased. Now he's ashamed so he's complaining to his friends. Logs on because his woman starts typing something again. Man, I love it when I make him mad. You little douchebags. You know the ones that get online and start to break him down. He fantasizes his keyboard to gun inside his hand. Pretends that he's a man. Truth he's just a stand. You punks are not ratchet but all of that tight chat. So I'm just laughing, your life is nothing cause nothing's happened. Now he's ashamed so he's complaining to his friends. Logs on because his woman starts typing something again. He's thinking he's the meanest, there's the formulating arguments so suave it. It's gotta be the truth and I mean all of it. It's marvelous and leaves all of us atheists and all of it. We should just shut up quickly and leave our tones moderate. He comes across my songs and then instantly he gets butthurt. He does a search of all of his arguments, no, they won't work. He went from dangerous to harmless. And suddenly he's so subconscious, he's gotta say something quick to respond to this. What comes out next is the proof of mental deficiency. A litany of bullshit statements that's contradictory. Claims a moral high ground but lacks the authenticity. Puts up a bunch of straw men but still he fails miserably. I hate you, Tombstone, you really getting on my nerves. You made us on this distant religion and that's just so absurd. I really laugh at this display of bitch assness. It's sad when they stuck on stupid and can't get past it. Man, I love it when I make them mad. You little douchebags. You know the ones that get online and start to break him down. He fantasizes his keyboard to gun inside his hand. Pretends that he's a man. Truth he's just a stand. You punks are not ratchet but all of that tight chat. So I'm just laughing, your life is nothing cause nothing's happened. Now he's ashamed so he's complaining to his friends. Logs on because his woman starts typing something again. You dudes kill me, man. You kill me. You don't think I see what this is? You wanted to rap, you know you wanted to rap, but you was whack. So it wasn't nobody trying to hear that. So now you get online and you got something to say about the people that's actually doing it. But that's cool, cause I got another foot for that ass. Ogma, put a foot on.
Man, I never grip the heater, but I smack him with the wordplay. Critics somersault when the adjectives and verse raid. I keep the pain bottle, let it breathe. Insane knowledge in the instrumental with twice the power of 8. I'm anonymous, Reddit comments a lesson impressive. Spit the hate in reality, gladly teach you a lesson involving temper pressing. Like I was lifting your mask, the loudest one in the room, and I'm assuming this jaw's glass. I ain't in this for the fame or the making the cash. Here to spit what's in my veins, rearranging the past. I let in the beat knock while I'm filling my glass. I bet this killing all you saying not end up in the trash. Keep your hating to yourself, kick back and relax, cause I don't think y'all want the dead man to have to react. You know what, fucking keep your bitching, cause I'm itching to snap. Half you ignorant motherfuckers should be idiot taxed.
Man, I love it when I make them mad. You little douchebags. You know the ones that get online and start to break him down. He fantasizes his keyboard to gun inside his hand. Pretends that he's a man. Truth he's just a stand. You punks are not ratchet but all of that tight chat. So I'm just laughing, your life is nothing cause nothing's happened. Now he's ashamed so he's complaining to his friends. Logs on because his woman starts typing something again.
Sure.
That's it. It's pretty sick.
Hell yeah, Tombstone is dope as hell. Thanks, guys. If you want to check out Grand Unified's music, you can go wearegrandunified.com, Twitter / wearegrandunified, the letter R. Find us on Facebook, everywhere.
Cool. Well, in this second hour here, we're going to talk about. Now, when you notice, like we've laid it out pretty thoroughly. We got that article, that study that was done, all the videos and clips, stories from across the country of people, clear examples of atheists being persecuted for their beliefs. That there's a bias in the media, that we are a minority that's being oppressed by the religious majority. And we get, not only do we get a discrimination in government at times, but we have problems with in our communities being respected and viewed as equal citizens. But yet, when we come up, or somebody who's been persecuted by the religious majority comes forward and demands equal treatment, like gay people, for instance, you have religious people that stand up and will say, we're being persecuted for our beliefs. They try to portray themselves as the victim. And listen to this clip from one of the biggest culprits of this, which is Brian Fisher. This guy spews hate on an epic level every day, and he has the nerve to say that he's being persecuted. He's being persecuted, even though he targets gay people with hate every day on his show and through what he does and the political action that his groups try to do to suppress the rights of people. He has the nerve to say that he's the one being persecuted.
The New York Times piece goes on to say, the conference from Friday to Sunday in Washington is sponsored by the Family Research Council, the American Family Association, that would be us, and other evangelical Christian groups. It aims to energize social conservatives and test the fidelity of the candidates. All true. The conference planners have obliged Mr. Romney, scheduling him to speak right before Brian Fisher, who is chief spokesman for the Family Association and is known for his strident remarks on homosexuality, gay rights, Muslims, and Mormons. Now, again, when you just tell the truth, that's all I've done, is I've done nothing but tell the truth about homosexuality, about gay rights, about Muslims and Mormons. That's all I've done. I didn't make anything up. I have just told the truth. You tell the truth as far as the left is concerned, that makes you strident. In fact, my comments, my speech is going to be followed by a panel of same-sex marriage opponents. So, and then the New York Times guy talks about People for the American Way calling on especially Mr. Romney to publicly disassociate themselves from Mr. Fisher and his, quote, unmitigated bigotry. So once again, tell the truth as far as the left concerns, unmitigated bigotry. You're right.
You see what I'm talking about, that rhetoric, the way he tries to spin it around?
As long as you say something is truth, then I guess that, yeah, like, people really believe that. They really believe that if you believe something hard enough, that it's going to happen. And it's like, well, if you actually believe that, then I want to see you move some shit with your mind. Or I want to see you think up an earthquake, like, right now. And I guarantee you there's people who have done shit like that, have had like false positives like that, who are just convinced now, oh, if I just believe in it strong enough, then it can happen.
Yeah, or they
we've all done that, though. We've all sat and tried to move the cup across the table with our mind.
Oh, I tried to do it right after Star Wars came out. I was like, I wanted the Force so bad, dude, and I would fool myself that I could kind of do it with a rake. You know, when you step on it, you could make it go up. Look, I got the Force.
So cute.
Then I realized I was just high.
You sure you weren't hanging out with Uncle Jerry in the backyard?
That was before I started hanging out with my uncle.
What were you gonna say, Wesley? You had something there.
Oh no.
Okay.
There's nothing really to add to that stupidity. Let's move on to the other stupid.
Well, when you're looking at this too, that the Christians especially, they have this belief that the end times there will be persecution of Christians. They believe that there's a time coming when they're going to be persecuted for their beliefs during the tribulation and whatever else, you know, whatever interpretation of the Bible they have. They usually believe that in the end times they will be persecuted for their beliefs. And it almost is like they're creating a self-fulfilling prophecy where they view anything that counters their feeling of superiority and entitlement as an attack instead of a demand from other people that they've been mistreating as a plea for equal treatment and justice. I mean,
Well,
do you see that?
I see what you're talking about, dude. I have a question, and maybe you can tie my question in with your statement. Why do you automatically get to assume that because you believe something and a lot of other people do, that that's the truth, even though, I mean, I know it's just faith and stuff, but that's a fallacy. I mean,
argumentum ad populum. It's like
exactly. It's a fallacy from population, it's an appeal to authority, is what it is. But
they figured out thousands of years ago that was a fallacious philosophical conclusion. You know, that's why there's a Latin name for like that. There's already Latin names for all this stupidity. It's like, oh, all these people believe it, so I might as well just go along with them. That's how the culture is in the United States. Why do you think there's so much garbage music that's fucking popular?
Right.
There's so much.
You got it, dude. There's so many things that are lame that's popular. Fucking,
all these
look
like
at Crocs,
trends.
dude. Look at Crocs.
Every time I see someone with Crocs, I just want to. Let me stop.
Give them a hug and a blanket.
Dude, remember spinners with rims? Like spinners?
With razors.
Yeah.
Dude, spinners were hot for like a long time. And when they first came out for like a minute, I was like, hey, dude, those spinning rims are kind of cool looking. But like within a week, or the fourth or fifth time I saw them on a car, I was like, you know what? I don't think those are cool anymore. And everybody had them. And now they're dude, if you got spinners,
they were selling plastic hubcap spinners
know.
at freaking Walmart.
Oh,
I think if we
keep in the comment on this subject,
you know, if we keep what, you got spinners on your car, dude?
Oh no, I don't got fucking spinners. I'm just saying I got nothing. I got no play. If you like spinners, that's cool. Like, as long as they look cool. If they look fucking ridiculous, then
no. Check it out. I'm not trying to diss anybody that still has spinners. What I'm saying is that they're out of style now. It's like blacked out rims, right? Like big giant black rim is the style. So,
goddamn, I wish I had a car.
I think what's going to happen is this Christianity's held on, and it's been. Or all religions have been hanging on in their death throes. That's why people are going to such extremes to preserve their belief, because they want to believe it so much. You know, they're like they take it so personally. Like,
God bless you, Justin.
When they take it so personally, when they find out that you don't believe like they do about their most cherished belief, they fucking freak the fuck out. They're like, you must be the opposite of me. I think I'm good, but so you must be fucking horrible. And that's such like a stupid mindset.
I think they're scared.
Or ignorant. It's not stupid. It's an ignorant mindset.
No, I think some of them are scared because they might somewhere deep down inside of a lot of them they know we're right.
You know what it is? They look at us like we're like the fourth grader who tells all the kindergartners that Santa Claus doesn't exist. And like we're just assholes who are just trying to like ruin people's lives by taking away the only thing that they have like to hold on to and believe in. But you know, you don't need like a book to have some kind of abstract belief in some kind of like higher entity.
Right.
Like, and you don't need to like take that action out and like commit like atrocities in the name of it, because then you're just completely defeating the purpose. And like at this point,
well, see, this is where I think a lot of people are getting the persecution fucking shit confused. Just because I don't believe it and I'm vocal about it, and I think that, you know, the organized religion, things in multitude and that have an influence on other people's lives, that's my problem. If somebody wants to believe that the world is flat, that's fine. You can believe it. I don't care.
Yeah.
What is it going to hurt me if you believe the Earth is flat? I don't give a fuck. I don't.
Just know that you're wrong.
Right. Just and exactly, Keith. Just know that you're wrong, and it's okay. You can believe that the Earth is flat. All the supporting evidence is to the contrary. But if you want to believe that, go ahead. Just don't pass it off as truth.
And anytime you challenge that,
but they absolutely believe that it's true, and that any kind of attempt to falsify that claim because it's so woven into their doctrine, is like a work of the devil. Like, to say that the Earth is round, you're just trying to trick people into thinking that the Earth isn't flat because that's how God originally
but the devil's
for it to be.
An even more ridiculous concept than God.
Yeah. Hey man, I didn't make this shit up. I'm just fucking baffled.
Yeah. But it's like it's anytime you start to you grab the thread, then you start to pull. And I think that's what we're doing, and they're like trying to go, what? No, don't, trying to hold on to it and keep it together, and the thing's just coming unraveled.
They want to save certain parts of the shirt, but we're saying that most of the shirt is I don't know. They want to get.
Wait, I'm not wearing anything underneath this.
Yeah.
I think religion gives people. I think this is why some people attack us so strongly. Is religion? You can go into religion and be a complete idiot, but be respected because you're religious.
Yeah, same with being an atheist.
You're a Christian, and I think people who are stupid, genuinely evil, or just shitty human beings, go to church and religion to get undeserved respect that they wouldn't have if they had to stand on their own merits.
Absolutely.
Right.
And when we threaten to destroy that whole illusion they've created, and that's fighting words,
It's just I think that the good that religion does is awesome and shit. If the good would outweigh the negative impacts that it's had on the world, even just by a little tiny bit, that'd be nice. But it's all the negativity and hatred and chaos that spirals around religion completely overshadows any kind of good feelings that may come from it, or kids getting fed and shit, and kids getting toys. That's a positive move in the right direction. But you don't need religion to do that. You could be a good person and go out and help people without believing in an ancient text that is the basis of your value system.
Absolutely.
And then people will argue that, you're just saying that because that value system was already put in place. Religion thinks that they invented these ideas. They've been around since
we evolved our morals.
Yeah. They didn't know any better, but that was okay. They didn't know any better back then. But now we've got more than enough capabilities to be able to make our own decisions, and people refuse to.
Yeah, and even back then, there's a lot of shit where they definitely knew better, and it was clearly just power taking advantage of other people. Even Jesus Christ there's stories in the Bible. Jesus Christ walked in the temples, tearing it apart, and said, "You desecrated my Father's house. Look what you turned it into. It's just a den of prostitutes, and you're selling shit." And that's exactly what religion has becoming more and more like.
Religion took the good the good that we had on our own and warped it and twisted it
and claimed it as its own.
Yeah, it claimed it as its own.
And used it as a way to control the people, interwoven in the governments and everything.
Well, before they found fossils where they've done a dig, and they found it was, I don't know whether, I think it was Homo erectus maybe. I think it was Homo erectus. I might be wrong on that. But it was they found that this skeleton that was an older male that had lost most of his teeth, but he died after all that. So somebody had been feeding him and taking care of him when he couldn't feed himself. So you have evidence of empathy, compassion, and good traits in Homo erectus species that existed before us, as that we evolved from.
You see it in the animal kingdom with animals with just basic brain function. Who know? Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, that person of my being is in trouble. I should help them. But it just depends on the animal and the situation. Maybe
even with dogs,
it's just like humans.
Yeah, I mean,
dogs, they'll protect one of their own.
Yeah, or they'll attack another one. But it depends on the animal, and it depends on the situation, and like instincts come into factors. So many things come into factor. You know what I think it is? I think that some dogs have a good like basis foundation for morality, for what you know what I mean. Like they got a good religious grasp on things, while the other heathen dogs have no kind of moral gauge, you know, for them to base their actions on.
I thought all dogs go to heaven.
Yeah, they did, and that was a good fucking movie, dude.
That's a good movie. Where's the what the fuck is he talking about?
Let's like switch it back a little bit, back on topic here. I'm gonna play it. There you go. That's what.
Was that for me? I'm sorry.
That was for my
long-winded.
No, that was from my awful joke. Coming. This is called "Coming Persecution to Christians in America and the World." This is a sermon that it's just a random sermon I pulled off of a guy talking about what they believe is going to happen to them, and that kind of gives you a window into this persecution complex that Christians have.
Oh my God.
His name is Keith Truth.
The Word of God reads, beginning in verse 9.
My name the worst.
But be on your guard, for they will deliver you to the courts, and you will be flogged in the synagogues, and you will stand before governors and kings for my sake, as a testimony to them. The gospel must first be preached to all the nations. When they arrest you and hand you over, do not worry beforehand about what you are to say, but say whatever is given you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but it is the Holy Spirit. Brother will betray brother to death, and a father his child.
It's also dramatic.
And children will rise up against
very allegorical, just parable,
and have them put to death. You will be hated by all because of my name. But the one who endures to the end, he will be saved. And as we look at this today, it should serve as a reminder to all of us that in reality, this world is not our home. We are simply aliens and strangers here, and that we are involved in a great invisible warfare. There is spiritual warfare taking place all around us, between God and between Satan, between light and darkness, between the truth and between error, and it will all come to a cataclysmic conclusion in the time of the tribulation. We must not be preoccupied with the things of this world. We must be setting our...
That's enough. You get the idea.
I can't listen to that for too much longer.
You know, that's him basically saying they're going to be flogged in public. They're going to be persecuted, imprisoned. This is
was heavy.
This is what they're trying to make. They're frothing themselves up into this idea that that's what we represent somehow.
Yes. How? Where?
They detach you from things in this world, like earthly possessions, so that you don't care about them, and you give them to them so they could use them. Like, don't people see that? Like, there's enough gold in the Vatican to feed every child probably 5,000 times over that exists in the world. That's what I mean. Like, you do little pockets of like things to kind of make yourself feel better, and then it's like, really, you don't care about these people's lives.
Yeah. Like Tim Minchin says, I'll give you $50 to take away my guilt.
I don't get it.
That's like what the Catholic Church does. I mean, that's.
Oh yeah.
By paying the tithe.
You know, and like the indulgences that they used to do.
Well, you used to be able to buy yourself into heaven. Like some of the stuff is so artificial and see-through, but like people will still buy it. L. Ron Hubbard said, "If you want to be a billionaire, don't start a business, start a religion." And people still subscribe to his religion. When he was like, all I'm doing is making money off you motherfuckers, and they're like, yes, we know.
You said some of the stuff is transparent. I think all of it is.
Yeah.
They don't know how to look at it.
Transparent to us, but not so transparent to someone who's been indoctrinated with it and has lived their entire life.
And that's the key. That is the key, dude. It's indoctrination. I mean,
and that shit is not easy to break. Believe me.
I know.
No, not at all. No, man, it took me like seven years to process my deconversion. I mean, it's not an easy process once you've been indoctrinated.
No.
But like the atmosphere, like of this guy preaching, and I've been in these sermons where they're talking about atheists and the godless and the heathens and all this other stuff, and they talk about the end times, and they get you this imagery in your head as a Christian that there are people like us now, atheists, wanted to throw us in prison and take us and persecute us for our beliefs, put us on crosses, have us interrogated, take our children from them. That's what they froth themselves up into with this idea. They get all this imagery up there.
Even today, like our own country, and like I agree with like Obama on a lot of his policies, and I'm definitely happy that he was elected over the dude with magical underwear. But the first thing out of his mouth when like our embassies were being bombed and they used like this stupid ass cartoon portraying Prophet Muhammad like the wrong way, as soon as that happened, the first things out of their mouth were, "We don't condone any kind of attack on anyone's religious belief." But you know what I mean? It's like the first things out of your mouth is justifying that type of action. Like, well, we kind of provoked it, but no, how about we don't condone bombing our embassy for any reason you have, any kind of justification you have in your head for bombing our embassy? We don't agree with that.
That's for sure.
It's exactly like telling a woman she shouldn't dress so slutty.
Right.
Next time I'll try to make sure my free speech dresses like it should, so it doesn't get raped.
Wow. Exactly.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good analogy.
Yeah, really good.
It's bullshit. It's just they're on all fronts doing this to us, man. And in other countries, you can't even say there is no God, or you'll get thrown in jail, man.
Or killed.
Or worse.
Yeah, how great is it that we live in a country where like we know there's people who want to kill us for our beliefs, but at least the government isn't going to come and chop off our head for saying this shit. Because there's a lot of countries where that's exactly what'll happen.
Well, you know what? We are technically putting ourselves out there by putting, this is public right now, and they can see our faces. I mean, my name really is Aaron. Whoa.
So Ogma ran away.
What happened?
He ran away, got scared.
Yeah, I just realized that we weren't private. This wasn't a private conversation.
Oh. Do you get what I'm saying, though? We're putting ourselves out there, and I have absolutely no problem with that because I have nothing to fear. I'm not the one. I'm not trying to push any agenda. We get accused of a lot, and I don't know if you can understand this, Wes. Coming from WFLA, we get accused at TABC all the time about pushing our agenda, which I don't really have an agenda other than I'd like to
other than how you feel, and you're just going to speak out about what you feel and think.
That's right, but
and just keep your mouth shut about that.
And I'm not going to. I won't keep my mouth shut about it, number one. And if there is an agenda that I do have, I think it's a totally benevolent one, and that's just to it's to learn something, you know? Come on, let's start educating ourselves so we can have, you know, real knowledge for a change.
Let's at least stop stoning people. Can we get
that would be nice for a start.
Well, excuse me, women drive. Is there a problem with women driving? I don't have a problem with it, but I mean, it seems to be.
This is a very touchy subject.
Yeah, that's an issue in Saudi Arabia. You know, they don't want them fucking running away. Is why they'd be like, "Fuck, we're out of here. Get me. I'm going across the border."
That's exactly why they would run away. They would leave.
I've lived in the Middle East. It's no joke, man. Women are oppressed over there.
But then people say that the burqa sets them free.
It does not fucking set them free. They're all wearing real clothes under there. That's cute.
And bottom line, you can wear what you want, but at the end of the day, you're only wearing that because you're forced to. Okay, maybe you want to wear it, but you're still forced to. You didn't have a choice anyway if you didn't.
You just made to think you're made to think that you want to wear it, but in some cases maybe you do like really believe that that's what you want to wear, and if that's really what you want to do and walk around like that, then I'm cool with that, as long as it's not like being like forced, like completely forced on you, which clearly it is in this region, you know.
I'm sure we've all met the Christian women who really do buy that they're second class. Hook, line, and sinker. They really do believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I met them. I've met them before.
It's horrible. I've had a woman try and convert me to be that, say, hey, so you can dominate your wife. I talked about it on a show before. It's disgusting. You know?
Well, I think after what we talked about, if we've gone from, you know, talking about atheist persecution to the persecution complex that Christians have, I think we should go into let's take a little bit of a different angle on this. When you look at all this stuff and how they disrespect us, who we are, misrepresent what we believe, call us evil, call us corrupt, call us fools. Why should we, when they get offended, give them any consideration when it comes to like a special pleading argument that we're being mean or that we're being too aggressive, when you have these things being said about us, so really mean, awful, horrible things that and all we're doing is like poking a little fun or telling them they're wrong.
And my thing is, why isn't your faith strong enough where like clearly if I make some kind of comment and it makes you so angry that you get to that point, like you really need to take a good look at like what you believe in and like your faith, your system of belief, and whether you think that other people have an effect on that, because obviously that struck some sort of nerve, and you kind of have to analyze like why that's making you angry.
I've made a meme about that before.
I think religion has its immunity to criticism. It's like it's immune to criticism no matter what. You can't say anything. You can talk about anything else, but as soon as it comes to their religion, you can't say anything.
It's like a cultural thing where we're kind of just told that there are two things you shouldn't talk about, and that's religion and politics.
Right.
When those are the two very things you should be fucking talking about.
Well, in Europe, they talk about politics all the time.
Yeah.
Actually, they really do, and they start them young. I mean, I used to laugh about it because I went to this international school, and all of my friends wanted to talk about politics, and I'm like, don't you know about skateboarding? Have you ever heard of that before? Surfing? You ever heard of that sport? You don't want to talk about that? You want to talk about fucking this shit? So, and that was just because I had come from, I'm an American, and that's, you know.
I used to hang out with the international students at the college there. When a friend of mine was going there, I was always hanging out with her, and that they would talk about that all the time. We were discussing the Georgia-Russian, the invasion thing that happened a couple of years ago with a Russian chick named Olga.
Well, I mean, if your parents are talking about politics all the time, you're probably going to start thinking about it too. Just like if your parents are talking about
or get real
Jesus all
fed
the
up
time,
with it.
you know, you're probably going to believe Jesus is the right way to go about it.
Don't talk about, you know, and it's not don't talk about religion. It's just don't talk about religions that or points of view that disagree with my religion.
Exactly.
Because if you're with other religious people, they'll be happy. I mean, I was sitting in Ruby Tuesdays the other day, and I'm sitting in there, and I'm joining my meal with my daughter and my wife, and this big group of church people comes and sits down, and in the while we're sitting there having our meal, just obnoxiously loud in the middle of the restaurant starts shouting out this prayer for over their food, and I'm like so loud.
Are you kidding me?
I could hear it where I'm sitting. And
Did you say Matthew 6:6?
I would have ruined their day.
Matthew 6:6
hated me.
Well, I yelled out abracadabra.
No, you didn't. Did you really? Did you really?
Knowing Jimmy probably did.
And then my wife,
my God!
my wife
If you did, you're the most awesome person on the planet.
Well, you think that, but my wife doesn't. She wanted to crawl into a hole. I did that at Thanksgiving dinner once too.
Abracadabra.
But when you do stuff like that, like in response to their fucking in-your-face bullshit all the time, you get
there's nothing wrong with that.
You get criticized. You get criticized though, like, and not even just by theists, but by sometimes other atheists. It's like these people. I think there's these people that are in atheism that have never been really in religion, been fucked by religion. And we were talking about this earlier, I remember, because there was a thread on GU that was posted today about, do you think we should make fun of believers? Do you think we should mock ignorance? And I think we should. I most certainly think we should. Because I'll tell you what, asking me to respect religion, especially Christianity, is like asking a rape victim to respect their rapist. I was not physically raped, but my mind and my childhood and everything, who I was as a person, was raped by religion. And it was just as much a violation in my mind as when someone gets assaulted by a sexual rapist, because and it's so much more. It's deep because it's actually stripping away your identity and who you are as a person on a deeper level that I think sometimes, or maybe equal to what rape victims experience.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm a fairly new to atheism, and I feel like I've got to play catch up now. You know.
So wait. So you were a believer? I want to get a little bit of his story here. So you were a believer?
Yeah, I mean, I would call myself I call it commercial Christian. You know, I didn't read the Bible, but I believed in Jesus and God did it. That was my philosophy. So I'd be sitting in class and being taught about science and evolution, but I mean, God did it. I really wasn't concerned about the details. And then as I got older, I kind of went through this transition phase where I just kind of ignored religion altogether. I guess just out of being busy with work and whatnot. And then actually last week I had on a Kat from WFLA, the owner for WFLA. She's actually a coworker, and she's the one who kind of talked to me about kind of laid out obvious things. Started off with Noah. Didn't realize he was 800, 900 years old, but kind of did it for me right there. And then the idea of hell. And then I started looking at everything. I didn't really know how to question things. And then when I looked at that, and then at the end of the day, she asked me, do you think man could have created God? I'm like, well, of course. I'm like, wait a minute. Scott Eddy was man-made? Oh, man. Then I just felt felt like being on the short bus my entire life.
I remember asking questions in Catholic school, like teachers would be like, you shouldn't be asking those kind of questions, or those type of questions are like what'll get you sent to hell. Oh, well, my bad. Like, my mind just kind of went there, and I put it on the table.
You don't want to be like Doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
Because
then I looked at the promotion of slavery in the Bible, and I'm like, why do black people love Christianity so much? I'm like, I don't understand.
Dude,
their argument for that is again the times, and there's slavery all over the world, but it still justifies it clearly. Like if you read it, like
There's a manual of how to.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, you got the people like Pat Robertson and the white Christians, but dude, there's some fucking crazy shit in the black religious community.
Yeah,
like
who's that
TD
bald guy
Jakes.
who's talking about women. Have you seen that guy under his name? Like
TD Jakes? Isn't that TD Jakes?
He's bald, but there's a younger guy. He was talking about how the world was going to end because of women and women being able to vote.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I'll tell you what, man, African Americans get really intense about their religion too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're really intense because I went to a couple black churches when I lived in Tampa.
It's a very big part of their culture.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's ingrained in there.
Yeah.
Like it's even more so. I think they take it more seriously. I think than sometimes I think
definitely, dude.
White Americans do.
Definitely, dude. A Baptist mass is like when I used to like go like and play basketball with my friends. When they went to mass, like their whole day is shot. They have 4 hours where they went to mass. And they had like the after study. You have 4 hours, and then you have like shit you gotta do after church, and it consumes your entire life. So that's like who you become.
4-hour worship service followed by an all-day dinner or something.
Yeah, exactly.
So depressing, especially as a child, just thinking about that. Like you would have a weekend. It's like I don't have a weekend. I have Saturday.
That's the only thing I look forward to going to church was the after. I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait to eat some bagels after this shit. I'm going straight to the hall and tearing up some bagels.
How about the potlucks? Did you ever do the potlucks?
Nah, I was never involved in the potluck.
We always went up to the dam.
What's that, Dustin?
We always went up to the dam.
Oh, up at Sayers there?
Well, in Blanchard.
Blanchard, okay.
You guys remember when you guys ever sacrificed any virgins? No?
No, I can't recall ever doing that.
I never did that.
I passed on that one. I was feeling very well.
What denomination was that?
I don't know. I just always thought that was fun.
Yeah, but like when you like becomes such a big part of who you are, even whatever part of it you're in, if you're raised with it, that it's like when you finally break free and you see how it affected you, at least I experienced this. I got more angry after I became an atheist than I did before. It wasn't anger wasn't a force that drove me to become an atheist, but after I became an atheist and I realized what was stolen from me intellectually as a child, what was taken from me as an individual, as far as my own identity and who I was, that made me more angry after I already acknowledged my atheism. Have any of you experienced that?
Yeah, like initially I felt anger that someone was even attacking my belief because again I felt like they were attacking like how I personally felt the world like worked around me and the universe operated, like my personal, like they were coming at me personally. And I was having really like, screaming like with like, you know what I mean? Like ridiculous emotional reactions. And I like stepped back and I questioned like, why am I thinking like this? And then I started to delve a little deeper into like the contradictions that exist in religion and like the whole thing kind of just unraveled for me. So I'd say that I got angry. First I got angry people were attacking my faith. Then I got more angry that I've been deceived this whole time. And then after that, it was a complete feeling of liberation. Like, wow, now my mind is completely open up to completely new, different concepts and ideas. And I'm not in this one little box that has been, like, forced on me my entire life.
Yeah, for me, I could say it's more, I don't want to say anger, it's more frustration.
Yeah.
You felt you lived this consistency and when I was a commercial Christian, like I said, that's my term. When I was a commercial Christian, I was afraid. I was determined that I was going to hell. Like no matter how good I lived my life, I was going to hell. And just knowing that there was no afterlife, that was a relief. That was more of a relief than anything.
Yeah, and I mean, you can't know that there's no afterlife, But I got a pretty good. First of all, there's like you can't know it, but the odds are against it severely. Yeah. Number one. Number two, if there is an afterlife, it's not like anything you're fucking describing. And if it is, then holy fuck, like I don't even want to be like, I don't want to live on this planet anymore. In the words of Professor Farnsworth. By planet, I mean existence.
Hitchens breaks down the afterlife perfectly about celestial Korea. It's like about leaving the party. I mean, that was just wonderful.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It's even if you could prove that their God was true, I still wouldn't worship them. Still would never ever worship them.
Yeah, when
you speeches like that.
When you lash out though back at religion after you come to be an atheist, and I think some of it goes. Sometimes we have a tendency to go a little far, but I don't think it's a crime in the sense that it should be looked down upon. I think it's a justifiable reaction to having been oppressed for so long with a mindset and finally breaking free. There's going to be a natural tendency to kind of feel some kind of anger and want to backlash against the thing that enslaved you for so long and lied to you and it controls people you love, divides your family, steals relationships from you, makes family members not talk to you, does all these horrible things that once you become an atheist that happen and when you're in a religious family. And
even still, I'm not going to be going around burning churches or tackling, people and like why do you believe in God? And beating them over the head with their Bible like I might have thoughts of doing.
Well, I think a lot of people, don't know the difference between being angry about something and being hateful about something. I get messages about, why are you so hateful, blah, 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 blah. We're good people. We're not trying to hurt anybody. We love people. And it's like, I think they are getting the message or the wires crossed about what the message actually is, because it's not, I'm not hateful at all. I don't hate anyone or anything, really. It's, really.
Yeah, and there's fundamental things in every religion to teach you how to fundamentally hate. So they bring that love to the table, but the most important part of it is that you have to hate either a certain group, like whether it's the Samaritans, or whether it's like Mormons ostracizing black people,
Maybe I guess hate is in human nature.
I didn't mean to cut you off there, Aaron. Too sorry about that.
No, Aaron has. I think his wife came in.
Oh, okay.
But like Dustin, don't you think we should feel justified in being angry?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's. But don't you get frustrated when people use that, like when you express that, you criticize religion and you kind of attack it, that you shouldn't do that, or that's inappropriate, or there's better ways? I don't think so. I think we need to be violent in our rhetoric, not to the sense that we actually persecute Christians, but we should be aggressive.
People that will challenge you on it, that will ultimately help you change your mind. So I think that's a good thing. I know that's what happened with you, and I think to some degree it happened with me too. Though I think I was a little more just internal.
Like I've gone like past the point of like being really angry, and now I just like cosmically laugh at everything, because it's like such a mess of like just ridiculous. Like there's like we've gone so far down the religious rabbit hole that it's just like. It's a lot of the shit is, in a dark way, like just, I don't know. Like a lot of the acts themselves like aren't funny, but the fact that there are still people talking and actually believing some of the words that are coming out of their mouth in the names of their gods, to me is hilarious. Like Pat Robertson is hilarious to me. People like him. Sarah Palin is hilarious. And
imagine having one of those people as your father. That's the problem with me. Like I don't feel like I can ever really truly get rid of my anger, because I can't get in an environment where I can escape from where I'm constantly seeing the effects of religion in my life and in my family that still hurts. It still fucking hurts.
Yeah, man.
And that makes me angry all over again whenever I have a conversation with my mom and she tries to get me to come back to Jesus, or my dad delivers an anti-gay sermon when I go to visit his church, it brings it back up for me, because if you have religious family members where you have to deal with them and they're still in that craziness, it just makes you so much more angry about the fact that you can't just have a normal relationship with your parents. There's always this thing, between you, this invisible wall,
Yeah, I can kind of relate to that. Not with my parents, but
yeah, I can relate to the idea of that. That's just, I find it's frustrating when there's really nothing. It's a lose-lose situation, pretty much.
So, like, really, there's, like, I've gotten to the point where it's with my parents, I bring up stuff, like, and just make off-the-cuff comments all the time. And sometimes my dad will just be like, shut up, and sometimes we'll just, like, let it go. But, like, we've gotten to the point where we both mutually understand that we have, like, a completely different set of beliefs. But there's always an underlying, there's always underlying amount of tension where it's like they think that you've, like, been misled down the path by Satan. So there's, like, a weird, awkward kind of, I love you, but you're demon possessed.
You always know that somewhere in the background in their mind, they're thinking of a way to bring you back to Christ.
Yeah, they think you're like
or they'll say he's lost, or he'll find his way.
Yeah.
They think it's another stage, and like just like they think like music is like another stage. Like I'm like, no, like it's like a way of life. It's how I feel and what I believe about this whole situation.
I honestly think that sometimes being offensive deliberately and actually offending Christians is a good way to get them to think. And it doesn't, like, a lot of people think that, I don't know where this mindset comes from, that you have to be nice to people to get them to be able to understand where you're coming from. And I don't think that that's necessarily effective when it comes to religion, because when someone that disagreed with me respected my beliefs, it gave me a feeling of validation. And it kind of put me in a comfort zone where I wasn't necessarily going to challenge my own beliefs. But if you offend someone, that means that you've hit something inside them that's making them.
I totally agree.
And sometimes people need to have a nerve struck, but sometimes people take that shit way too far. Like a lot of times there are atheists who I feel like make us look like, if you say yourself you're a rational, like, thinking human being, you can't make generalizations, and you can't have, like, hateful generalizations in your voice, like, just because the other side is doing that, because you're just giving them ammo to feed their fire, No,
I acknowledge that not all Christians are the same.
I'm saying, like, there are people in the atheist community who just are
who do that.
Us look like fucking like.
There's a difference between challenging someone's belief and attacking someone as a person.
Yeah.
Now, the religious can't seem to make that distinction, but there is a very clear
examples, Ogma?
What's up?
Do you have any examples of what you're talking about?
Well, for example, I personally respect, like, Richard Dawkins, like, highly, like, as a person, but I think sometimes he comes out, some of the things that he says sometimes are, like, I could see how they could be, like, thought of as, like, directly offensive and not necessary, but that's just because he's human, Like, Dawkins is just, like, a light example, like, but there are people who are atheists who are just playing devil's advocate. There are people who are atheists who, like, are spread ignorance and hate. They're just few and far between compared to how many religious people there are out there. You know,
I've met
proliferating that.
anti-gay atheists.
Yeah, I get that on the page all the time. Like anytime we post like, you know, gay rights or anything like that, we're gonna have a lot of atheists against that, which you kind of scratch your head a little bit.
Well, being an atheist doesn't mean you're necessarily a good person. Doesn't mean and just like being a Christian doesn't mean, you know, if you're an asshole who loves Jesus, you're going to be an asshole who loves Jesus. You know?
What?
Yeah.
What are they? What stance do? Because I've never met an anti-gay atheist. What stance do they come at against to be against it?
They don't really have anything specific to say. They're just like, even though I'm an atheist,
I think it's
probably afraid of latent homosexuality. Like
there you go.
Like I got a line in like one of my songs about that. But like to me, if you so adamantly oppose like just adamantly oppose any kind of homosexual behavior, even if it's as far away from you as possible, unless you think it creates some kind of rift in the spiritual universe, then like to me you're like just like suppressing latent feelings of homosexuality. You know,
pretty much. I think that's a fact.
No.
And I know. I mean, a lot of them do think they're creating like negative rifts in like, you know what I mean, the fucking Matrix or whatever by, as Lewis Black said, breaking into people's houses in the middle of Christmas and just fucking each other on the dinner table in front of the women and children. Like, there aren't gay banditos that go around doing that to people. Like, I wish people knew that.
They just fail to see the definition of a civil right.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what's really frustrating. I mean, it's a civil right to, you know, marry whoever you want to marry, civil right to believe whatever you want to believe.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't got to agree with what they're doing to do that.
If you want. I mean, you can think it's icky. I don't, like, who would care about that? But you don't have the right to stand in the way of somebody.
We're the only, like, other countries, like, more progressive countries, laugh at us, like, for that. They're like, you guys are still fucking talking about this? We've been talking about this for years and years, like, just legislating this kind of bullshit. The fact that it's even on the table in serious political discussion just shows you how much of a fucking joke it all is.
We have electricity, probably.
We're still fighting over evolution in our schools. I mean, come on, it's just...
Trial happened a long fucking time.
And that's just, god damn it. I wish I could go back in time and go to, like, where they defined, like, shit in science and how they define theory. I wish I could just be like, you gotta call that shit something else. Some other word other than theory, because people are gonna associate that with vague hypothesis. That,
see,
you know,
that's kind of what I was talking about before I had to go take care of something. But, you know, these are legitimate things to be angry about. Really, I mean, they are legitimate things to be angry about. It doesn't mean that, you know, I hate anything. They are legitimate things that, you know, I can pose an argument why bigotry is bad and hold my own on that one. You know.
Yeah. And then they'll argue that it's misinterpreted from their doctrine, but I mean, to me, I know I don't know the original language, and like people say that all the time. Oh, you have to read it in its original form, and you'll really understand the true meaning of it. To me, it's pretty direct and concrete. You know, a lot of the shit. Bash the infants against a rock. I don't know what kind of metaphor you were trying to use for that, but it sounded like you were saying to throw a baby against the rock if his parents didn't believe what you believe.
I always use the analogy of, like, you know, the Sabbath day deal where the guy picked up sticks on the Sabbath day, and I compare that to other things that happen, and they're like, you know, first of all, it's Old Testament, second of all, you don't understand God, so how can you criticize that? And I'm like, well, you don't either, so how can you criticize? I don't understand. You can go do this all day.
It's like circular, like, well, that's just the human interpretation of God. Well, you're just a human. How do you know what God is trying to say?
Yeah, how convenient.
Who are you to say I know what God is human, what dog, macaroni and cheese?
Oh,
I love when you
I know something. Because I have a degree in theology, and I know how to speak. I know how to read Greek. That makes me able to interpret God more than anyone else.
But that's appeal to authority, though. You could have a degree in theology and still be talking out your ass. And I know that you're not, but I'm saying, you know.
No, I'm not talking me personally.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. People say, yeah, I have a degree in this and this.
Right. No, I don't have a degree in theology, and I don't know how to read Greek, and I still know it's bullshit. You know.
I love it when people are like, I used to be atheist. I'm sorry, man. I'm talking a lot.
No, there's this process that goes on in a theist's mind, where you're taught that the devil will try to trick you and deceive you, and you have someone coming to you and giving you valid information, but it's never gets to where it's supposed to because it's automatically filtered through this Christian filter of the devil's trying to trick me. And they're not even listening to what you have to say. They're not even hearing anything you say most of the time when you're having a debate or when you're talking to them rationally. But the only times I've seen where you actually reach them is when you offend them. You throw them off for their game. You throw them off. You hit them where it hurts. You stick it to them, and sometimes it is mean and it's fucking vicious. But like the Bible says, wounds from a friend are better than kisses from an enemy. In the book of Proverbs, it says that. We're doing this because we care. We know you're deceived. We know and this is nothing that they wouldn't do for us. Because we're burning in hell and they'll do whatever it takes to save us. We're trying to save your mind. So I mean, it's like the same mentality. I hate to say it's almost like compare it to religion, but it is like we're trying to save people's minds and their intellects and who they are as individuals from religion who's trying to steal that from them. And I think
not even all of us have that kind of position. Some of us just are like. And a lot of like theists will like bring it up in discussion, and then when you give them your points, they'll act like you were the one who was attacking them, and you're being an asshole. Well, you're the one who brought it up and started having a discussion. You didn't want me to cite sources about what I was saying or give my opinion. You want me to just fucking roll over? You know?
My favorite thing is when you'll bring up a Bible quote. And they'll have never heard it before in their entire life, and then proceed to tell you, "Oh no, you're misinterpreting that wrong." It's like, excuse me, are you the freaking expert on this? You never even heard this verse in your life.
It's like when you do textual criticism too. You'll talk about like you have somebody. I had somebody quote 2 Timothy to me the other day, and I said, "Well, it's nice you quote that book of the Bible that's believed by most scholars to be a forgery," and it was the scripture that all scripture is useful for teaching and whatever, you know, but like they don't even know that the Gospels are written by anonymous authors. We don't know who wrote them. Most of the stuff was written way after it all happened, and I was just watching this documentary the other day that even now there's some scholars that are starting to come up with this idea that Jesus was actually a creation of the Roman aristocracy to control the Jewish rebellion, and that's why everything is kind of written 40 years after it happened, because it was created as a narrative to kind of quell the Jewish rebellion and give them like a pacifistic kind of religion rather than something that was militaristic that was going to overthrow the empire.
And they just used the same types of ideas for that prophet that they used for all the other prophets before them that were born of a virgin and, you know, performed miracles along the way. They used the same fucking parable story and just reworded it to be convenient. Like there are literally other prophets before Jesus Christ who was crucified and like rose on like the third day. Like all these numbers and stuff. Like, you know, 7 days, 3 days. It was just really significant to these people.
You better stop persecuting Christians there, Ogma.
Yeah, I know.
You're bad. You're setting a bad example. You're persecuting them.
I'm sorry.
Pointing out facts.
I just want to let you guys know that I've been playing devil's advocate this whole time, and I'm actually an evangelical Christian, and I just hope that one day you guys will just see the light. You know, I'm just here to guide you to Christ.
You just convinced me with that one sentence.
Converted.
I think it's awful, and I don't much care for it at all, my good sir.
On that note, I think we went a little over tonight, but I think it's cool. We had some good stuff to talk about. But what should we go out on here? I was thinking Metaphor Swordsman would be a good track.
That's a good one.
That is a dope track. The track I posted in chat would be dope too, but Metaphor Swordsman would be a great one. Since we already heard
Ballad of the Non-Believer. I have to say I want to play that because I really like that song, and I think it fits with what we were just talking about.
Metaphor Swordsman is awesome though too. Great, and spit some hot shit.
Before you go, Aaron, post the link for the Hangout in the comment section on YouTube so some people can find it.
Yeah, we're going to open up the room afterwards. You can come join us and hang out, and we'll be back on Saturday at 11 p.m. for our weekend show, and Ryan should be back then at that point, and we will see you then.
Chill.
Did you really think that I wasn't gonna address this album? Don't be ridiculous. Like most of you, I was indoctrinated with religion. At a time when I was
peace, everybody.
Decisions drank by the hand without permission, like the cognitive
Peace, Aaron.
Thanks, Ogma. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be back in a minute after we go off the air.
Buried under layers of prayers, emotional attachments, and every other program and attachment. A sense of common unity, involvement, no actual incentive to question all of the sermons from the pulpit. This is how they introduce the idea, firmly rooted in the fear of question validity. Just adhere, it's not innocent, it sets a bad precedent. Internalized credulity for things that lack evidence. Some people keep this way of thinking for their whole lives. The need for critical thinking is never realized. I don't want to hear about the books that you have read. Explain to me the way you see the thoughts inside your head. Not filtered through the garbage you regurgitate instead. Your thoughts are just a program with which you are in bed. All I really want to do is show you there is freedom. Eliminate those primitive myths, you don't need them. The clergy only trolling for power, so don't feed them. And since they can't prove it, remove it and don't believe them. Ponder the logic of learning science from shamans. Excuse the laughter if you please, I'm trying to keep it all in. But this is how you look when you go and consult your preachers to gain an understanding of evolutionary features. In fact, I find it despicable how you characterize scientific principles, dismiss the indispensable. So don't believe these guys that say it's science they despise when they standing in the line for the iPhone 5. You benefiting from the method, yet you go and step on it. The famine of everything that your life has been affected with. A lifespan enhancement comes directly from advancement by people in lab coats, not biblical and chains. Take a whiff of these comedians, cause something smells funky. If we came from monkeys, then why there's still monkeys? See, that's the type of dumb shit that needs to be responded to. Your obvious accomplishment was dropping out of high school. I don't want to hear about the books that you have read. Explain to me the way you see the thoughts inside your head. Not filtered through the garbage you regurgitate instead. The thoughts are just a program with which you are in bed. All I really want to do is show you there is freedom. Eliminate those primitive myths, you don't need them.
Hey, John, smile, you're on the show.
Since they can't prove it, remove it and don't believe them. You're not mentally fit to be talking shit to me. You believe those primitive books that reflected history.
I was the one talking a lot.
You want to go to war and you're choosing to stash your weaponry. Now, how's that even sound at all? Is this even logic when you're claiming that a book of faith can prove your stupid argument? Way too much to problem with. Not much fat to stake it on. It's just they thinking if you dance, you can really make it storm. Oh yeah, but I forgot. Your book is the truthful one, and all those other ancient myths are something that is really dumb. It couldn't possibly be that you all have been deceived. It couldn't possibly be that you got a false belief. That's why I question your sermon should be sequestered. The leaf from off my porch is starting to really pester. You're one of many thousands that's claiming a revelation, too wrapped up in all your ego to see your indoctrination. I don't want to hear about the books that you have read. Explain to me the way you see the thoughts inside your head. Not filtered through the garbage you regurgitate instead. Your thoughts are just a program with which you are in bed. All I really want to do is show you there is freedom. Eliminate those primitive myths, you don't need them. The clergy only trolling for power, so don't feed them. And since they can't prove it, remove it and don't believe them.
All right, going off air.